Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to play better and sound better in your worship services. I recently did a demo of the Jet Eternity Delay and the Revelation Reverb, and I ran both of those effects in the loop on my HX Stomp. Today I'm going to walk you through 3 different placements for that loop and the benefits of each. Now they all share the same challenge, and that is managing the input to the first pedal on your loop. If you're using an analog effect, it may not matter, but if your pedal has MIDI controllability, there's going to be digital elements in that pedal that might be sensitive to volume input. All you do is just bring the input down and then match that, turning it up just so that you replace that volume. All right, let's get to it. So the first placement for the loop is going to be in front of the amps. And this is really a standard practice, and it's the way I did it for years. And most people did up until the digital options came along, and that's just running your full pedal board into the front of your amp. Now, this gives you the added benefit of your ambient effects blooming in the preamp of the amp, and then you get the overall refining, putting the frequencies all in the sweet guitar spots through the tone stack of the amp. So we're going to go send and return stereo, effects loop left and right, turn that on, and I have the effects off, and we just want to see what's happening when the signal goes into that loop and make sure that we're not getting any signal loss or digital clipping. All right, that sounds pretty even, so let's hear how it sounds running the effects into the front of the amp. All right, that sounds great. So let's hear it now. The second option is running it between the amps and the cab. So we're just going to move it. And I'm going to turn the effects off. And let's hear how that sounds. So with off and then on. All right, we're getting some volume drop. So what we're going to do is just reduce that input. We'll go down -5, and then we'll go up 5. See how that sounds. All right, that works. So we're not getting a volume drop when we turn our loop back on. And let's hear how the effects sound in that spot. So to my ear, that had a little bit more breathing space. It's put in between before the cab. So the cab is making sure that no frequencies below 80 hertz or above 5K are getting through. And also just kind of putting it through that speaker is going to do a thing to it. So that sounds great, but let's hear how it sounds. And the third one, and that's going to be after the cab. Turn those effects off, and then we'll go back and forth, making sure that we have good signal coming through that loop. There's a little bit of a drop, so I want to bring that down 6 and bring it up 6. All right, that sounds good. And now let's hear it with the effects. So a bonus effect of running your loop after your amp in either placement, either before the cab or after the cab, is that your overdrive section is hitting the front end of your amp, giving you a more dynamic overdrive, and it's allowing your ambient effects to have a little more room to breathe. If you run a loop on your Stomp, where do you place it? Let us know in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. There's a handful of downloads free for you in the description box below. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.